Okay, and there we go. There we go. We should have Mike there. All right, so we're able to communicate with chat. Should or when anyone arrives. Let's get the link. Can I get the link? I don't know. Okay, here we go. There we go. Streaming. Nothing of particular consequence. Oh, for goodness sake. Doesn't copy the right link. Okay. Welcome to Awkward Noises stream. Welcome. Hello, Jammer. All right, and Brew and Missing No Leader. How's it going today? We are getting back in touch with our roots. We are drawing ponies. So we're not working on the video game thing. That's been it hasn't been touched for a little while. I had a lot of issues with allergies, which were keeping me awake for a little while. I had somebody come in and do some cleaning of the air system, and it's been better. I don't know if the problem is fixed because there's kind of a seasonal component to the whole thing, but I'm trying to get it fixed. It's been an issue for a long time. I moved into a house with a bunch of mold in it, and it's been a problem ever since. But anyway, though, today we're doing ponies because I'm going to Babscon. And for context, I kind of suggested, I was like, hey, what if I ran like a little game tournament of like tabletop pony war, like a tabletop pony war game. I got two friends who are familiar with the Song of Ice and Fire war game, and they could help teach people how to play, so we could get at least 6 people playing at a time. We could run a couple of games throughout the day, and that would be fun. I can think of a few people who would play. We have confirmed that I've got at least like 3 friends who will show up, who will be willing to play. If we have no unfamiliar people, I do at least know familiar people who will go through all the trouble. So anyway, I was like, could we get the game room? And they were like, yeah, we'll make space for that and we'll put it on the schedule. And then once they said that, of course, now I'm locked in. Problem is, we got to make ponies for our war game. So one big question for those of you guys in chat, I don't know how many we have yet, but we've got the Pegasi, the unicorns, and the earth ponies, naturally, but I've been trying to get a gauge on what are the other armies that people would really want to see. In my own Discord group, so far we have five votes for changelings, 1 vote for yaks, 5 votes for the Lunar Republic bat ponies, 1 vote for dragons, and then 2 votes for griffins. So it looks like it's going to be changelings, Lunar Republic, and griffins are going to be the other 3 armies aside from the main ones. But what do you guys think? Of those choices, what would you most enjoy playing as in a war game? Let's see if we get any responses. Meanwhile, I'm going to look up Celestia MLP, and I haven't really drawn ponies. I haven't drawn ponies very much in a long time, so I'm kind of going into this just cold. Right here. Song of Love and Tolerance. Now, what's fun about this game system is it was designed to sort of, like you're supposed to be playing with Game of Thrones characters, and so it's designed around this idea that your characters are going to influence the game a lot with their personalities. And following that principle, the idea that you could put ponies in it and have their personalities be a major factor was pretty appealing. That was really what got me going on it. Bat ponies. Hippogriffs, I know nothing about hippogriffs. No Crystal Empire. Crystal Empire, I don't know how they would play any different from unicorns necessarily. Kieran's. I saw the episode with the Kierans. I really don't remember very much about them, honestly. I don't know if that's just me or if they weren't super memorable. Are the crystal ponies earth ponies? I don't know. I just know that they're shiny. They're meant to, you know. Let me see. This is this horse's head. Celestia, she's kind of like a dachshund. She's got a very dachshund shape to her. Very dachshund-like. Just shiny earth ponies. Yeah. See, that's what I. Let me see. Just trying to get this. It's been a long time since I've made ponies. There's like a trick behind it, and honestly, I think starting with ponies is my introduction to art. Really should have started more with fundamentals because it's they're bizarre. I mean, they're drawn in a way that's really good for a cartoon, but they don't have very good fundamentals because they're kind of like I don't know, they cheat a little bit in terms of. How they approach 3D space, and you know, it's a children's cartoon, and so I figured this is kind of good though, because I'm gonna try and like belt these character portraits out fairly fast because we've got a ton of them, and I only have until February, March, April, the end of April. Is an episode of Where Are We in the works? Yes, it is. The superhero thing. Thank you. One of my friends was saying that he felt it was very different in character to a lot of the games that have been there presently. I was telling him it's really because the players are so much different. It's based on an older game group, the one that I actually quit because there were so many conflicts. It was so hard to play really. So in that one, really, the characters are they're a little bit less, and this is largely because of kind of how that game actually went. But the characters are not quite as like, I don't know. In the previous games, you could say that everybody was out to kill each other, but fundamentally, they were on the same page, and you know, there wasn't a sense that they were enemies necessarily, but with this game, there's a lot more of like they're trying to achieve much different goals. There, let's draw her legs in a little bit more. And there's like her. Like that. Let's get rid of this. We got too many lines, too messy. Let me see. the long goofy ass horn. There we go. And what they do is they kind of have the hair swoop around it, and then her hair just kind of like cheats behind her back because she would have been a bigger pain than you'd expect if it weren't for the cheating. The cheating is very important. I don't think they had realistic horses ever. They definitely had a horse once, but he wasn't like a photorealistic horse or anything like that. Okay. She's gonna be shrunk down. I don't want to draw the wings unfurled. I mean, yeah, that's majestic and everything. But I'm probably going to crop it down so that you won't even really be able to see it. And then we got to put on her bib because that kind of completes her chest space. And then I'm trying to think, like, do I want to do... If I just do black lines, it'll save me time. And time really is of the essence with all this because this is... got to be done quickly. I pretty much have to run through lots of art assets all very fast. So we're gonna be doing as much as I can in as short amount of time as I can. Maybe I should use the line tool for that. Nice straight pony horn. Burp. And then not have a line depth, which is pretty lame actually. Get a little line weight in there. If we're gonna use blacks, we might as well try to use them correctly. To be honest, I think probably what I've gotten most used to is I've been doing a lot of we do art assets these days. It's for video, like the video game and things like that, where just draw something really big and then shrink it down to like a thumbnail, and the details kind of smoosh together. Which is good because I am not a talented artist. So the more I can get away with hiding the fact that I don't know what I'm doing, the better. Will Twilight's card have the power to summon the king in yellow into your left ear? Yeah, I'm drawing Princess Celestia. Like I say, we're making a war game for Babscon. I'm going to Babscon, and yeah, so Twilight has the ability, you can put her in a unit, and then that unit will get increased mobility. And then she does something else. Let me see what I'll pull up her card. So yeah, so the idea behind this game is that we want all the ponies to kind of have their personalities represented in the game. So we're doing Celestia right now. Oops, can't get Celestia in here. Get in here, come on. There she is. Both files named Celestia. That won't get confusing. So Celestia, the joke is, when Celestia activates, instead of doing anything with her, instead of putting her on the board, you just take Twilight Sparkle and make her do another action. And that's kind of the joke there. And then Twilight, her shtick is she gets to perform an extra maneuver. She can teleport around. And while she's still alive, you get to draw more tactics cards. And the tactics cards are like little abilities and things like that that are kind of nice. For example, here's a good one. So an enemy unit activates, they're going to do something, and you say, oh, you have to have, like, your attack power is as low as it can be. You're a mess for now and whatever. So Twilight gets to draw more of those cards. So she gets to dish out more like abilities, special abilities out of a card deck. and that's kind of representing Twilight's a little more magical than everybody else. So whoever's playing the unicorns, you'll always have 4 cards where your opponent has 3 cards by default. So you get a slight edge on that particular aspect of the game, that power. And then we've got, like I said, I've got some. It's not taking itself too seriously. It was like, I got excited when I realized what I could do with it, and I was just like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if X, Y, and Z thing happened? And so one of the jokes is the Earth ponies have Fluttershy. So instead of playing with Fluttershy as an Earth pony, I'll just do that. We'll just take that off. Instead of playing with Fluttershy and the Earth pony, or on the Pegasus team, she shows up on the Earth ponies, but her only rule is that she might be lost, and then but she gets her animal friend. So I'm gonna have Barry be in the game, and Barry. How do I want to do this gemstone? I didn't sketch it out. Did not sketch gemstone. Just fudge it. Just fudge it. There we go. Celestia's magic hat. Magical hat. There. I'm gonna fill in the ear. Maybe wanna. Some black in there? I suppose so. Okay. And so let's just get this little hair curly. It comes out. I don't want to do that. Volume wise, kind of like that. Yeah, that looks okay. Hair, nice and thin, kind of where I'm planning to have the light. A little thicker as we get away from the light. Oh. There we go. And color-wise, her hair is a bitch because it's like this weird pastel rainbow thing. Is there a Discord card? So people were like, you gotta do bat ponies. And originally I was like, they're not canon. There's no bat ponies. They don't exist. I'm not going to do bat ponies. And then I did a poll, and just like, the bat ponies were, the Lunar Republic was so popular. People were like, you got to. And so I was just like, okay. But the problem is, they don't have, like, okay, there were bat ponies, but they're, and the guard bat ponies, yes, but there's no, like, canonical, like, I don't know, Steve Bat Pony, Lord of the Bat Ponies. You just get, you get this, these things that validate that people could have bat ponies. But there's not like a strong showing of bat ponies. And so here's the thing, is that the game has politicians. So this is one of the appeals, is that we can do Celestia, and she'll never show up on the combat board. Like, she won't be fighting, but we just have her do things that support the army politically. And so we need 3 named characters. And bat ponies, although they are incredibly popular and appear very frequently in the fandom related things, they really just don't exist in the show. So unless you want to be like, yeah, bat ponies from the fandom, it's hard to do anything with them because they kind of don't exist. And so I was just originally not going to do it. I was going to be like, no bat ponies, because they aren't real. I mean, they kind of are, but they're not people. they're set pieces at most, but then everyone is like, I love the bat pony. You know, the bat. So yeah, it's not that I have any problems with them from a perspective of like creating the army units. Bat ponies are easy. From the perspective of like we need political units to support Nightmare Moon and the whatever her look at this like little Fleur thing going on with her feet. With her her political stuff, I need like named characters. So the original question was, am I going to include Discord? And the answer is that I was thinking that Discord would be on Luna's team. So yes, he'll be there. He'll be part of the new Lunar Republic. And he'll be an NCU. And I was thinking it's a little awkward because, you know, he doesn't really support her. So I was thinking that his portrait would just be like him giving a thumbs up. You know, like kind of an awkward... And that feels characterful enough. Like, seems like something he'd do. Like, yes, I'm here. Just gonna get like a big fat knee. Probably gonna cut off at the knees anyway, though. It doesn't matter. Gonna do. There we go. Eyeballs are important. Eyeballs kind of make our characters. More important parts of the whole thing. Nose. Let's see, maybe kind of narrow up her face a little bit. That might be a little too... Don't want to drag this out too long because I'm gonna get all... Gotta shizzle that chin, get a little shizzle on the chin. Yeah, she does have that kind of like chin, that little chin shizzle, doesn't she? Alright, we'll get this shizzle on the chin. Add more shadow, a little more black. really though, if I waste too much time on this, I'm not gonna move on to the next thing. I've got to do like. Just doing the math, I was like, I got to do kind of a unlikely number of these in very short time. So if I don't make it, if it's like I get towards the end of the month and it's like, oh, I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna have to probably just take pictures from the show, which is another good reason to not use fictional or fandom characters, because if I have to go into panic mode. Second episode of Mike and Lou. The guy who did that mod, I did like one mod. I don't know, Fallout 4 kind of was like, it's very polarizing. You know, you either liked it or you didn't. I was in the kind of, I didn't really like it very much, Fallout 4. Well, I know that Mike and Lou wouldn't have to be beholden to Fallout 4. I did, in fact, go on to do a thing called Radio Skyline. So if you go to donsomewhere.com, you can actually find that on the website. And it was a similar concept. There we go. I don't know. If I go too much detail, then it's going to be awkward when I some effort. Do some effort. We look okay. I don't want to go crazy and then wind up having to be committed to making really good stuff. Is she like vaguely pink? Oh, how do I do this again? There we go, guideline. Now, could have sworn that would do it. What are the rules? Oh, right. There's like a... For other layers? Boop. There it is. Forgot there's a setting for that. That is not white enough. Still not one. She's really very, very close to white. She's almost... No. I'm looking at her. She's got... Okay, I'll have to do that. Back leg. We just use the podium. The trick that the show uses, which is right in quarter stuff, is like that. Oh, here. She forgot her back shoes. She's only panic if I'm gonna be turning everyone into rainbows, says Bite Bite. Yeah, we're gonna draw a sun, but we're drawing a sun, but honestly, we'll see. I'm curious to see how many people we wind up interested in the games. Cause I'm gonna let people know that I'm doing them. This is a brighter. Nope. Yellow is a tricky bastard. Yellow does not like to be a nice color. It likes to be fucking opinionated as color. Got these little cinnamon swirls. Oh man. It's like if I'm gonna do them, do I gotta make them look nice? Should I try, or nah? That's fine. I think as long as just the communication that they're there is good, that'll be fine. That'll be good enough. Again, it's all about the speed. The main thing is I just want people to feel like I cared and put in the effort, because I am trying to make it fun. Especially because like war games are one of those things that a lot of people like as soon as you're like war games, everybody let's play war games. You just, I mean, like there's only so many people who really get into those. It's not a super common. It's not everybody has affection for them, because they're competitive. You gotta have that competitive mindset. You go in, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna play this game and I'm gonna defeat everybody, and if I lose, it's just gonna make me angry enough to keep playing. I'm not gonna get discouraged. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do even better. And no, we'll just keep using the same layer. You know what? We'll live dangerously. No changes. Same layer. Nope. Doop doop. Shine. It's shiny. From a distance, we'll be fine. War games also tend to be pretty long. These games, they'll run about an hour and a half typically. What does Spike's card do? Spike's not actually in the game. Originally, I thought that people were going to lean more towards dragons. Like, so I was like, yeah, dragons. And so Spike, I didn't even consider putting into anybody's army. I was like, well, the dragons have just enough named individuals who could do politics if Spike is one of them. So Spike's main thing was he was going to be in the dragons, and he was going to be like a little, what you call an influence card, where you would play Spike, and then you would put him on a dragon unit, and that dragon unit would then be more. It would have better morale, so they'd be less likely to run away or panic or anything like that. So Spike would be a little morale booster, and that felt fitting to his character as far as the dragons go. He's you know. Come on, everybody. I learned from ponies that death, destruction, and poverty is just an attitude issue. And the dragons would be like, oh, thanks, Spike. You're right. We'll burn everybody yet. I can't believe we got all discouraged. And, yeah, so he was gonna be one of the political side pieces for the dragons, but then I did a poll, and I was just like, yeah, what do you guys want to play as? And it was like bat ponies, and then aside from bat ponies, changelings, and those are the two big ones. And then I also had like yaks. I was like, if anybody wants to do yaks, we'll do yaks. And then surprisingly, yaks were not very popular. I guess not surprisingly. But yaks were not very popular, and so no yaks, and then dragons also just didn't really. Yaks are really easy to hate. They kind of show up. They don't do anything very fun. They shout and break your stuff, and then that's it. They go home. These guys kind of suck, honestly. Celestia does not have a tail. We'll just crop the tail away, though. We'll just crop it away. She doesn't have a tail. She doesn't need a tail. Alright, we'll take a risk and not break this up into layers, even though I really should. Just get like a green swirls, green magic swirls. All big and there we are, and then the kind of a bluer blue. definitely more blue. She normally has. And that's not quite there. The colors are definitely off, but I'll throw little sparkles in there. I think I can have a special sparkle effect. Yes. Go, sparkle crayon. Ping, 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 ping. There we go. The majestic beauty that is Celestia. And for our background, because we got to burn through a bunch of these real fast, we're just gonna do like a gradient of some sort. We'll go the other way. Gradient. The other way. There we are. Perfect. Okay. I don't want to do this. I guess I could put her all into a folder. Yeah, that'd be safer for the integrity of the whole thing. Alright. Into a folder with you. What do we do? Oh, right. Celestia. Okay. Name tag, portrait. We want her underneath the portrait, I believe. We want her underneath the background, actually. Whoops. Oh. That maybe looks kind of ugly. I don't like that background. With all this, I think maybe I don't want to position this. That is a slightly ugly look. The colors are really clashing, so let's maybe a purple into blue. Let it do it, and then that'll kind of match the rainbow look a little better. Maybe kind of a pink, kind of a fuchsia, and then more darker purple. Even zoomed in on Celestia. Well, I would tell you, as a talented artist, I don't know how quickly you could belt out like a little Celestia drawing like that, but I think faster than I did is the trick. Anyway, though, there is a Celestia card. Ta-da! Is she in attack mode? No, she never attacks. I don't know if you can read her rule here. But you can play her to the political board if you want. However, her real ability is to sit her cake butt out of the fight and just let Twilight do everything. Realistically, the only time that you would want to put her on the board is if you really wanted her to grab swords. Actually, someone else would grab that. There's like a bunch of different options. So one of them's like someone gets a free attack. One of them's like heal your unit. Another one is like draw more cards. What does the Chrysalis card do? She does damage, is what she does. So the Changelings were interesting because they were a bit of a challenge. But so Chrysalis here, she claims the zone. One of your units will suffer a panic test, which means that if you roll too low, it's kind of a random chance thing. Panic tests suck a little bit because they have a high gambling element. But you roll 2 dice, and a lot of them have like a morale of 5 or 6 or something like that. If you roll below that number, then some of your own units will run away. So Chrysalis, she hits her own people, but then after that, an enemy also takes a panic test, but with a big penalty, and then if they fail it, a bunch of extra wounds. So 2 wounds is a lot in this game. You get 12 units to, or 12. You get 12 wounds to a unit. So that is that's kind of a lot. All of her, well, the majority of her, half. I guess half of her units recover wounds if somebody fails a panic test while engaged with them. So this thing that she does is basically she can, sock you with this panic test, you fail it, and then it'll heal her changelings. Oh, she's not no, she doesn't get like a wild card that could be any other card. We do have that. That would be changeling number 315. Changeling number 3, because there's not enough named changelings, so we had to come up with. But anyway, the changeling number 315 simply transforms into somebody else's political unit. So, sorry, that was an original idea. I guess what I went with was somebody plays their political unit, and they're like, all right, I take this zone, and then you stop them, and you be like, actually, that's my unit, you fool. And then you get to play that zone. So you replace their unit. So that's Changeling 315's ability. Chrysalis is acting more as the commander of the force. So her thing for this, the way that I wanted to go for it, is that Chrysalis is helping deal damage from the sidelines. And then your main changelings are doing the fighting, and they're kind of a panic-based force, which is going to be... it could either be pretty powerful depending on if you're really lucky. It tends to get thwarted easier than you'd expect it would be. Like in the game that this is based on, the tabletop game this is based on, panic is not a very strong mechanic. So I've done my best to try to make this still a fun army in spite of the unreliability of the panic. But I think Changeling 315 will be a lot of fun. Just one time, you will completely screw somebody. They'll be like, I take this really important zone. You'll be like, no, it was me, fool. I get the zone. I get the free attack. I recover the wounds. This is going to be a physical game that we play at Babs. You could play this online. Let me see. Because here, this is kind of cool. I can go ahead and share this, but I'll post this. This is a game that I enjoy, and I go to tournaments for this and stuff. But there's a game based on Game of Thrones, a tabletop game, produced by Simon, and the rules for this are based on that. And you can play that online. There's an online simulator where you could just get with your friends and play a game. So we play this on the Discord sometimes. Yeah, the point was that they're parasites of love. But we can't express love so much in this, so we're not gonna worry about that. Let me see. How about I'll just do all the NCUs first. We'll do Rarity next. Yeah, so you can't do love. We just do. Oh, sometimes I lose a question. Sometimes I'll look up and then I don't want to drop what I'm doing for too long and read everything. So if I don't respond, I might have missed it. How come I'm going back to pony conventions, and how come they still exist? One of the reasons why I'm going back to Babs is because one of the organizers actually lives in my area, and so, he doesn't live in my area, but he has family in my area. So he came to visit, and he invited me out to dinner, and he was just like, "Hey, you got to come out to Babs." And we talked about it a little bit. He's like, we could get you a room, and I said, okay. Question. Would be willing to make a tabletop simulator. Well, anyway, though, yeah, he was like, oh, we could get you a room and everything like that. And I said, okay. If cost is less of it, because the thing I always worry about is the cost. So if cost is less of an issue, then I should be able to make it out. And, oh, here we go. Duck face rarity. That's going to be what I use. All right, so yeah, so I was able to make it out, and I don't know, the convention stuff is a lot of fun. Like, one thing you really don't get when you work independently for a lot of time is, she's going to do a big old Rarity face. I'm not going to draw out her body like we did with Celestia. That was a mistake. Tragic mistake. Scratch out this Rarity face. Honestly, they really don't put this flattening on the ponies. I'm just being stupid that I try it. It kind of ruins what's cute about them. Makes it a lot harder to Rarity. That's kind of where she's at. Kind of changing the angle of the face as I go along. This is becoming less clear by the second. Duck face. No, duck. Am I gonna do duck face? What even am I doing? What am I doing? I'm trying to copy the show this. This is just all falling apart. Oh god. Oh god, it was clear and then it became less clear, and What are you doing, Rarity? Who are you? Duck face. Trying to do a duck face. And then there's just like a pony. It's just pony here somewhere in all this mess. There's a pony. Let's see. And then like a horn. Maybe I gotta be careful about this whole uncanny valley thing when it comes to ponies. We don't want to get like 3D. That's the thing. Like when I first learned to draw, I learned to draw all through ponies, and because it's all like the cartoon and everything's very abstracted to make them as cute as possible. Early on, learning to draw, like my fundamentals were really not very good because everything that I was doing was based very much on what the show was doing and not so much on what I should be doing in terms of like learning how to draw. And you know, not that the show is wrong, it's just that learning to draw idealized characters that are like, I mean, it's like starting with cubism or something like that before really learning how to do like there's nothing wrong with cubism necessarily if you know what you're looking at, but when you start with it, it's just silly. And now I'm kind of like coming back after practicing fundamentals a little bit more, and it's like, yes, the idea behind pony is to try to keep it cute. We don't want Rarity to be like horrific whatever. okay if we're little off, but we just need to keep it cute. It's like the most important thing. Rarity's fun is always fun. And Rarity's hair is always fun to draw. Yeah, Rarity's hair is interesting. I actually don't think it's all that bad though. No. When first learning, you're like, oh man, how does this work? But it's funny again. Like you kind of look at this and it's simplified. It's just everything's so simplified, so good for a television cartoon. Like so well done, from the perspective of professionals who knew exactly what they were doing and what they wanted with the characters and then again, like if you're like, I'm gonna learn to draw something, I like My Little Pony, I'll learn to draw from My Little Pony. It's like, oh no, what are you doing? Don't copy that. It's good, but you have to understand what's good about it. You can't just go straight into it. Let's see. Oh, what if I give her like? Maybe is it like the lips or two? I think it is. I think that like me trying to do duck face with it is kind of what might be part of the issue. Because like yes, she needs to be doing duck face, but. Let me see. Maybe if that comes there we go. I'll kind of round that out a little bit more. Yep. Upside down is not how I wanted. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And then the hair, let's just draw from behind so that it's more clear. Her hair is so wacky though. Just in terms of like, I guess it curls around, but I mean like it's so elegant for like as crazy as it is when you kind of like first look at it. If you've never really drawn before, you just realize how they're like, yeah, we need her hair to be like elaborate but easy for our animators to work with, and it's just so well done for that. Like it's just like, oh yeah, just a little swirl, boop boop boop, that's it. And that was one of the things that made me confident that I could even do this, was that I was just like, really, so long as I keep to the simple basics of it. The whole point of My Little Pony is that it's supposed to be easy to draw. It's easy for artists to work with. So nothing's too elaborate if I don't make it too elaborate. Yeah, it's got like a weird geometry, but it's really not too weird. It's I don't know, like I could say it's kind of elegant. Like really when you get to, it's just very elegant. It's just like, we did it, we made a cartoon. We had a goal for a cartoon, we achieved that goal. Bam. You gotta appreciate what they did. as far as the craft. Oops, lost a little bit of my flourish there. Line weights, clarify where is the depth somewhat, and if you draw enough, it sticks. Have I gotten into any new fandoms? Not like the MLP stuff. I mean, like, fandoms like the old days don't really exist anymore, partly because all the online spaces these days are just so heavily directed by algorithms and everything else. I don't feel like humans play quite as much of a factor in it as we used to. I mean, it used to be like with My Little Pony, one of the reasons I got into it was because there were like human beings there, and I was like, yeah, these guys will really think this is funny. Or I had friends that come over, and I'd be like, you guys got to see this thing I made, and they would think it was really funny. It was all about making stuff for humans in a fandom and everything like that. But nowadays, everything is so algorithm based. It feels a lot less like you're making things for humans, and just so much more like you're making things for a program. And I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Song of Ice and Fire, so I'm involved in that. I'm doing that. In fact, we're gonna start a podcast here coming up soon based on that. That's supposed to launch possibly today. So I interviewed the guy who runs the Song of Ice and Fire stats website, along with my co-hosts Kurt and Wes. Kurt and Wes are not as familiar with the online entertainment or entertainment circuit in general. So it's mostly just me doing the interview for this one, but they'll learn as they do it, and they'll get better at it. But that's going to come out, and I'll announce it when it does come out. And if you guys are interested in learning more about the Song of Ice and Fire community, than you can. But I think of that less as a fandom and more of a community, because it's a it's a tabletop thing. And so it's kind of like there's a Warhammer community, and you could call it a fandom. Like, I think the Warhammer fandom, you would say, probably is more into all the books and everything else. And maybe not, but like there's also just the gaming community aspect of that are specifically just playing the games. Yeah, of course I play the tabletop games. I've been a huge tabletop nerd for ages. See, the ponies are just kind of like circles. So for them, I don't have to worry quite so much about their chin squibbles or whatever you call them. I like the word you used, but I can't remember it now. Nice and thick eyelashes. That's what Rarity's all about, honestly. Thick eyelashes. Just kind of scribble them in even, because that's how eyelashes are. There's a difference between a server. As far as our server goes, I mean, you could say I'm in the Greg fandom. I'm kind of happy about the way that our server has ultimately turned out. We have fandom stuff and everything, and it is a server that is based partly in stuff that I do. But we got a lot of other things going on. We got a book club right now. We're reading Guards. And so the Discord server that we've got for down somewhere is really more of a community thing than anything. Where should those be? Like there? It looks like she's not really looking at you that way. Let me just widen out the pupils a little bit. We want to give the impression that Rarity is giving you a look, her duck-faced look. Trying to flatten that out a little bit. Gosh, that's rough to say. I would say I feel like I don't have like cuteness on this. which is not great. Look at and notice the way that they do them is it looks like they kind of do this. A lot of times, I don't know. Maybe like rounder face. What am I doing? It looks kind of like the hair is in her face. That's okay though. That's actually sort of pretty. Wound up accidentally making it look as though Rarity's hair is in over her eye. Got kind of a Jessica Rabbit look. You know, I wonder if that's where part of the inspiration for her design came from. Maybe go in front of her face. Maybe a little bit less thickness than around here. Okay, that'll do. Well, it's not. It's not quite the cartooniest look. Is Alan's still around? Yeah, Alan's still around. He's got a podcast that he does stuff on sometimes. He's joined us a couple of times for the VidSomewhere stuff. So you can actually, you can hear him talking to us there. So yeah, Alan's still around. I don't keep up with him very, very much. Kind of busy with my own life stuff, family and things. No, it's me. This is Clip Studio. Alright, I'll resist any urge to add color, and then Rarity is like this, Rarity is like this kind of a this purple. This looks like Rarity on her sassiest day. This looks like I was trying to make her look good. Really going for the silly duck face look, but that's okay. Yeah, whatever. Didn't come out to intent, but if I spend too much time on it, then I'm gonna not get everything else done. So. Nope, okay. There's no, please respect these lines. All right. So here's one of the things that they did do that that I think is interesting for Rarity as the character was that they, because her hair does this swirl thing, you kind of can't, it's a little inconvenient for shading. Like, it looks very flat without shadow, but as soon as you start shading, it kind of requires you to shade everywhere. You have to start thinking about it. It's hard to get away with just like, I'll just shade a little bit. You kind of shade a lot of it, or you don't shade at all. And so what they did was they just took a gradient, and that's it. And so there's no shading for Rarity. Time saved, animation cost saved. It's all pretty clever. Pretty clever. Very well put together show. Kind of thinking about doing the gradients. But we won't. Anyway, then here we go. Put the eyeshadow on her. Let's go with the paint, electric paintbrush. Paintbrush too big. Made a mistake. There you go. Eyeshadow kind of helps her be a little look a little trashier, which is what we want to go for, of course. Rarity. The trashiest horse. All right, maybe not the trashiest. Definitely, boy, definitely not ashamed. Let's see. Did I accidentally? Oh, I did. I have a little hotkey. I never use it. Powdity. Yeah, thank you for saying it looks great. Like I say, it looks a little bit more like I'm trying to draw like an actual, like Rarity. I am Rarity, and I'm supposed to look good, and I guess it's fine that she looks good and everything like that. But fact is, I was going for kind of the. If I can, maybe I'll bring this out here. You can see. This is kind of the pouty look that we got. Like this sort of it's a little overblown, and that's pretty characterful. Whereas this is a little bit more. Like she's pulling it off. Like that's what the. I kind of like that. She's not quite pulling it off. But okay, we want to do a gradient just like last time, I think. What was it? It was like pink to. Oops. Kind of a pink to purple. There we go. No, it goes the other way. There we are. Alright, we'll throw it all into a folder. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with all this when it's done either. I was kind of thinking about, because we're going to have to print out a bunch of like cards and tokens and everything else and then transport it all. So I was kind of thinking about like, maybe I'd do like an auction at the end of it and just be like, if anyone wants to buy all this stuff, I don't know, we'll sign the box or something, thanks. And then that way like I'll hand it off to whoever wants to buy it, and I don't know if anyone would ever play it again. I could always post it online, I guess. What am I doing? Oh, right. But that could be part of the deal. They cover the cost, and if I sell it, and I'm just like, if you guys want to auction, the bottom level price, the bottom level of the auction is the amount that it costs to print all this at Kinko's. and then like, let's see if people want to bid more for it than that. Do I still have the Rupert puppet? All right, you're gonna laugh. The answer is yes, and I don't know where he is. He's somewhere in the house. I don't know where in the house. Which is probably the best possible fate for Rupert. That's the most characterful thing that I could have done with him. Rarity headshot here. It could be me. It could be you. He's out there somewhere. So anyway, though, there's your Rarity card. So Rarity, whenever she claims wealth, she gains more of her own. She gains more of her ability. I thought that was a good character thing. And then Rarity can either offer a little bit of healing, or she can weaken your opponents a little bit. And that felt like a very good kind of framing for her. Anyway, though, I'm going to use the restroom. I'll be right back real quick. Let me get some more coffee. Okay. All right, we're back. Okay, so that's Rarity. And then who was our last NCU? It was Trixie. Ah, yes. All right, so Trixie's funny. she's actually based. She's an exact parallel of Tywin Lannister in the board game, and the gist of it here is that she shows up, she completely nukes something, and then she leaves. That's it. So. That's what we're doing with Trixie. That's our goal with Trixie. I want everyone to be mad that she appeared in the game whatsoever. Some new coffee. Okay. So let's see. Like this kind of cockeyed Trixie look. Sort of this time I want to kind of make sure I get the eyeballs. So I get like a rough estimate of where the eyeballs are. It's going to be where her brow's at. Let's secure that just a little earlier. Where is your nose, Trixie? How does this work? How does this work? As soon as we... Let's see. I kind of got like there too. Something like that. Here. like that. That's not bad. That's not too bad. Alright, and then Trixie's got like a kind of a double hair thing going. Her mane comes out of her. Everything's separately. Dirt Mall. Dirt Mall still holds up. Yeah, Trixie gives you that power stare and all your troops just crumble. No, my hope is that when the people who play this game, my hope is that they hate Trixie and absolutely curse her name. Just feel like this is the worst horse. I swear to God. The unicorns are a little bit like a blue magic deck in whatever. Twist. Twist is not appearing. Twist shall not be appearing in this game. Let me see. We're just gonna crop the picture. So the thing is like, do I want to do her cape? I don't think so. Oh, she needs her horn. Like, she looks naked somewhere though. She doesn't have her horn. There we go. See, I don't want to do that. I guess just a circle. Look okay? Yeah, that looks alright. I feel like I'm kind of getting better. Better at this as I go. This is actually a pretty alright pony. I feel like better than. Better than Celestia was, maybe, and as far as drawing goes. Although the eyes, maybe I spoke too soon. I don't know. foolishly running my mouth before I'm really done with the picture. There we go. I guess it looks okay. It looks all right. It looks all right. I'm panicking too soon. Add some line weight. The line-eyed circle of hell. She's boastful. She straight up assaults ponies. Yeah, she's pretty villainous, but you know, ultimately, by the time the show was done, I feel like I didn't really like most of the characters anymore, which is unfortunate. But I liked Trixie because she was the only one who really had no advantages, and she was still being thrust into like all of these really difficult situations that were super hard for her personally. She just did her best. And she hated it the whole time. All she did was complain. Which I think is funny. Like, the show originally, that was basically what Twilight kind of tended to be. Was this character who just, like, hated being here. And that was part of the fun, though, was that it was like, you know, candy and gumdrops, but also Twilight Sparkle wishes you were dead. She wishes she were dead. She wishes everyone were dead. And, you know, I don't know. I really enjoyed that about the character and the show and everything. They kind of got away from that. But then they had Trixie. And then Trixie was that exact same mentality. She's like, I wish you... It was more, but it was just more like, I wish you were dead. I wish you were dead. I wish I was asleep. I don't know... So I might just crop out this lower section anyway. It's the nice thing about the political ponies is that they don't have to have like really firm action poses. She's too young for the little eye thing. Cool. Okay, let's maybe round that out a little bit more. I got a little too much pen on me here. All right. Trixie colors. There was that episode where Trixie tried to kill herself. Yeah. They turned Trixie into Celestia, and then, yeah, I mean the big thing they did that shot them, that really got them, was they were like, all right, Twilight's a princess, and then it's kind of like, well, what does that mean though? And it was like, anyway, let's not ask difficult questions. The show continues, and the ponies are just don't worry about it. It's fine. So a bit comical, that. She's got like swirls in her hair, kind of, not swirls, but she's got stuff going on with her hair. She has her pony mane. That's kind of correct. Basically correct. There we go. Okay. And then she kind of goes more white. Uh-oh. Kind of looks like it wants to override. That's not good. Why don't you recognize that? Computer? What's the problem exactly? Probably because it's not in a vector layer. Oh, come on now. I drew the lines for you. Don't give me this. Clip Studio. Honestly, I could probably, there's probably a setting I could do that would fix it, but rather than just blaming the program. This is not my fault. It's my art program. Yeah, alright. Alright. I'll correct it. I'll correct it. I'll do it for you. Clip Studio. Oh, okay, some of this is my fault. Alright, now that's just a mess. That doesn't look correct though. That doesn't look like it got close to what I wanted. I don't think that Twilight was necessarily supposed to replace Princess Celestia. I mean, you can say that with the hindsight of knowing that she did. But, you know, I feel like if you're going to do stuff like that, you should be obligated to project that more, work into it, instead of just doing it with the song all at the last second. You know, I mean, you can feel free to argue. People do. People definitely do. Oh, you know what I bet? I think I drew my lines with the pencil tool and not the pen tool. Whoops. Oh, and she needs her pupils. Otherwise, we lose a little bit of that. I mean, like, the color's nice for the character. Not her pupils, her irises. Irises. She's got pink eyeballs. Pink eyeballs. I mean, the sense that I got was that the whole thing was like a little bit rushed, and they were trying to wrap everything up with like a song, by using song in the last episode. You know, you'd just be like, and it all worked out, and everything's fine. All because Twilight was herself. Watch myself a good amount of Bluey these days since I have a younger kid. Because you wear yourself. Wear yourself. I'm gonna do it now. Yeah, cooperate. Weird. Studio just doesn't like these colors or something. But okay, the NCUs I think are fine to just be like headshots and busts and things like that. But for the actual ponies on the battlefield, I think I'm gonna draw them in armor and stuff. Probably got to get the cutie mark on there. Or at least the portions of it that people will be able to see. Looks like it's more of a blue. And she's got like a darker blue around here. Here, and then she kind of has like a little... There we go. Butt stamp. I don't like give into the overwhelming to do Bluey or Bridge. Bluey is already only like 10-15 minutes or whatever. Muffin never should have gotten redemption. I wasn't a big fan of the house selling thing. That one was it was funny because as adults, when they were like, we're not selling the house, my wife and I were like, oh no, they're gonna lose all their Ernst money. Because you gotta put down money, like both parties put down a certain amount of money, and it's like it's a liability to just like walk away from a house sale. But I don't know. Like, the mom being super excited about it. Oh, thank goodness we're never ever moving. It's not an option. It's kind of like, I don't know if I quite like that. I don't. This lesson feels a little odd, a little detached from how things really are. It was a little strange for them to build all up into like, well, sometimes things change and we don't know is it good or bad, and then they're just being like, actually, things don't change. It's like not quite the message there, but it's sort of kind of how it winds up panning out. It's just like, actually, everything remains exactly the same, and well, hello. All right, and we'll do once again our pink and purple background. I already got that, so I just need the purple. Or I guess it kind of trending towards blue. There we go. And this is Trixie IA. Trixie A. Boop. Boop. Oh shoot, I got the gradient backwards. There we go. Trixie. She completely annihilates one unit and then moves on. Greatest and most powerful pony. I feel like this back eye is a little wonky. Oh well. Oh well, we don't have time. That's 3 done. If I'm doing the math, let me see. How many things do I need to get done to finish this on time? It's all of our NCUs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in 3 days, we'd get done with the unicorns. 6 days, we'd finish the Earth Ponies. 9 days, we'd finish 12. 12. I guess just 3 times 6, 18. 18. So in theory, if we can do 3 of these a day, we would be done with it in 18 days, which is a little less than half a month. So that's not, I mean, no, a little more than half a month, but it's not bad. Yeah, Unstoppable Momentum is going to be a longer one. That was also a campaign game. And there's a bunch of stuff that's got to build up and a bunch of things that got to explode and come apart. I'm not sure exactly how long it'll really be, The real game took a very long time, but that was partly because I was playing with a different group, and that group was like really bad about getting things done. And so part of the inner conflict was that I was the one playing Kimon. And I was like, like, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do things. I have these beliefs, I have these opinions, like, this is why I became a good guy, this is why I'm, this and that. And the other players were like, we got to slow down. Activate Pot of Greed. So yeah, they were always trying to, like, stop me from doing things, and it got into, like, arguments, and so there was a lot of internal conflict between the players in real life. And then there was like filler. So like one day, for example, we played Mario Kart. Not like Mario Kart, but like we had Mario Kart. Like we had to do a car chase with guys and their superpowers with that they were Mario Kart. And it wasn't anything. It had nothing to do with anything. It was just something that the GM wanted to do one day. Which is like not atypical for role-playing games. Sometimes you just get days like that. But that type of stuff, of course, won't go into the podcast because it's just like completely aside for the point of the story, which is the point of the podcast. So, Trixie activates Pot of Greed. There are Pot of Greed style powers in the broader Song of Ice and Fire board game, but that's because it's a board game, and so cycling through your cards is not as powerful as it would. But yeah, all this stuff though, all this like one enemy becomes panicked, you take a panic test, you become vulnerable, you take a bunch of hits. This is like basically if you play this at the right time, this will be like, I elect that unit to die. And so Trixie here, I find it comical to set up Trixie so that like she's just this trump card that just like one time you'd be like, cool, like my some of my guys are in dire straits, but if I retreat them and then heal them up, they'll be okay. Just be like, Trixie's like, they're dead. No, they're dead. She can also outright kill Rainbow Dash, which, I don't know, people are going to have mixed feelings about. But we got Rainbow Dash, and Rainbow Dash is going to be her own. She's completely standalone. So, should hate Trixie during the whole game. I mean, you'll always be worried about when is she going to strike. So, yeah. Yeah, she'll just kill Rainbow Dash outright because this like, do 4 hit, you're vulnerable, take 4 hits. What that is take 4 hits, and if you pass any of the armor tests, I can ask you to re-roll the armor saves. So Dash only has 5 armor and 4 health. So, like, the game starts, and you just feel like, I activate Trixie. Trixie kills Rainbow Dash. And then that's it. Like, Rainbow Dash will just explode at the very start of the game, and you'll be like, all right, now we'll play the game without Rainbow Dash. But at the very least, Trixie will be tapped out. She can only do it once. But that's her powers. Just like, I elect someone. They are devastated. And then that's it. So, yeah, Trixie. Yeah, Rainbow's an interesting one. She's very glass cannon-y. You don't get like 7 inches is faster than anything. Like that is as quick as it goes. But she's going to be entirely independent as a unit. So why is Rainbow Dash weak to Trixie? It's just how it's panning out. Rainbow Dash is a solo unit. And in Song of Ice and Fire, they do have those, and solo units are always a little bit vulnerable because they don't have very much health. They don't have very many wounds. So the big problem with them, usually they're like really cheap, and so what people will do is they'll take the solo units and they'll use them as a mix of like guard dog, like they'll be like guard dogs. So you'll put them on an objective somewhere on the backfield where they're not going to be in a lot of harm. But if something gets close to them, usually the solo units, that like a lot of them have good enough abilities that they're kind of scary. So Dash is the same way. Dash is basically, she can act as a guard dog, but she's like super fast. She hits really hard. If she gets the charge, like if she's the one initiating the attack, she can theoretically do 6 wounds outright. No, this is not an RPG. This is a tabletop war game. So Dash will just be like blam. She crashes into somebody. She does a bunch of wounds. She does a bunch of damage. But then if she takes any return fire whatsoever, she's pretty much just going to evaporate. So my expectation is that some players, depending on how many people we get and who plays it, they'll look at Rainbow Dash and they'll feel compelled to play her like Rainbow Dash, and they'll just be like, yeah, Rainbow Dash can reach the enemy, ergo I throw her as hard as I can at the enemy and she'll hit them, and it'll be like boom, lots of damage, and then the retaliation will come and Dash will just get like smacked down. You could play her more strategically. You could keep her on the backfield and force her to not do anything, but just hold objectives. But know that Rainbow Dash will secretly resent it. She'll openly resent it the entire time. We have a couple of some of the cards that you can draw for her are based on her, but because it's so likely she's going to die, we also have an alternative activation, which is just like Dash is dead. Just throw this card away and draw a different one. Bumble, just make her crash right into everything. Yeah, I mean, the only problem is that your opponent will get a victory point for killing her. AJ is a bit of a tank. Yes. So Rainbow Dash, she has a couple of cards related to her. For this one, like Rainbow Dash completes an attack, and then everyone around her is inspired, so they get like extra movement +1 to hit, which is good. And then I've got another one. Like, I didn't want to just bully her, but I've got like one that's like, yes, her problems, which is like you get some benefits mainly for Rainbow Dash. Like you activate her and then an enemy becomes vulnerable, weakened. So you can like throw Rainbow Dash at somebody and it'll be even worse. She even heals wounds, so if she's not quite dead, she'll bounce back to full health. But then you have to attach this card to a friendly unit and they suffer until Dash dies. So... it's kind of like, I've got Dash on my team, and she's kind of a detriment. She's really a bit of a hero, but also hurting us a little bit. Characterful is what I'm going for. For Applejack, she's she'll join a unit. So Dash is standalone. She's going to be totally independent. She's not really part of anything. Applejack will always join a unit. And so Applejack, she gives a unit bonus abilities. So whenever Applejack attacks, she restores wounds to a different unit than the one that she's in. Applejack also boosts morale, and if you fail morale, Applejack reduces the damage from it. So Applejack will make your guys pretty spirited, and she'll keep everyone around her alive so long as she's stuck in the fight, which I felt was a pretty characterful way to do Applejack. We've got the Apple Clan is going to be one of the units that she's part of. So while you control Pony, that's going to be one of the zones, you get extra defense. So they'll go from a 4+ save to a 3+ save as long as you're controlling the Pony zone. I haven't figured out what I want to do for Discord. But these guys will the Apple Clan, they actually kind of get stronger as they die off. So as you're killing them, they start to get more bonus abilities, and that's what we're going for with them. So they're gonna be really tenacious, and that's what we're going for with that. We got Big Mac he's an attachment that you can throw onto one of your units. Healing wounds is an important part of the game. So there's like different ways to heal wounds. For example, the unicorns have... Where is it? Here we go. Ethereal Drafting. So you play a tactics card, and as a response to that, they heal off of it. So it's like, I use one of my magical abilities, and they're like, we draw from that magic. We get stronger. We bounce back from it. So... there's different ways of healing and whatnot. Big Mac's unit is they get to reroll attack dice, and they make the opponent they're more likely to fail their armor saves. We showed off the changelings earlier. Let me see here. Oh yeah. So Fluttershy, she's actually going to be joining the Earth Ponies, but Fluttershy herself has no abilities. Instead, what happens is that you put her in a unit, and then you have to attach Angel Bunny to the unit as well. And so Angel Bunny then has an ability, whereas Fluttershy does not. And then on top of getting Angel Bunny, you also get to deploy Barry the Bear. And Barry is a standalone bear who will maul your opponents on behalf of Fluttershy. His morale's really good, armor's okay, doesn't have a lot of health. So Barry will, valiantly probably die fairly quickly. But anyway, though, I thought it would be funny to have Fluttershy be on the wrong team. And because she's really more of an Earth Pony than a Pegasus anyway. For our NCUs for them, like I got Filthy Rich. And so this is kind of an example. So normally the way that everybody heals wounds is on the political zones. There's a wealth zone. And if you take wealth, you get to functionally buy more units. So the Manticore, I think, is going to go over to the Lunar Republic. So I haven't actually made cards for the Lunar Republic. I don't have rules for them yet. But at any rate, though, so Filthy Rich, normally if you claim the wealth zone, you get 3 wounds back. You buy more people. You get to remove a condition token. So we got Filthy Rich in the Mud Ponies. And Filthy Rich, no matter what, every zone he takes, it's always the wealth zone. So you get 3 wounds back. That's actually a little busted for this game. So he has to activate last, and that'll I hope mitigate the power that he's got to make him a little bit less versatile. Because otherwise, otherwise they'd be so hard to kill. Because there's a bunch of they have a bunch of different abilities. Like for example, let me see. Here's one: Die Stubborn. You think you've killed Applejack's unit, but then before she dies, OBS says it's disconnecting. Disconnecting, reconnecting. Are we back? Oh, okay. Reconnecting successful. Okay, had a little hiccup there, I guess. Oop, okay. But yeah, they got a bunch of different abilities. The Earth Ponies have different abilities, so look them in the eyes. If Applejack's unit passes a panic test, which is really likely because Applejack gives them a bonus to their morale, then you get to punish everyone around you for having challenged you, for having dared to try. What else we got? Is there Earth Ponies? Is there anything that's particularly funny, interesting? Oh, unicorns. We do have chariot. We're going to have a chariot, unicorn chariot, which is 2 unicorns pull a chariot with a unicorn in it. So I thought that would be funny. So that's going to be in there. We got Trixie, Celestia, Twilight for them. The Earth Ponies have Granny Smith and Maud and Filthy Rich. Those are their guys. The Pegasus, the Pegasi, it's funny. It turns out that there's really not very many named characters that did much of anything in the show. So you get Derpy, and so what I have is Derpy is a card miller. You throw away 2 cards, you get to grab a card. And that's kind of, she's a male pony. I kind of like the idea of I lost your 2 packages, but I got this one. But it's the package you want. You get to look for any deck you want. I'm not sure if this one's a great idea because it's going to be at the convention. We're going to be teaching people to play then and there. So when you have a card milling... Yeah, the cards are spells, effectively. There's no items. Instead of items, what you get are attachments. So, for example, you are going to place Applejack in a unit, and Applejack is basically like an item that you're attaching to the unit. So your spells are the cards that you draw. You get a bunch of cards. Everybody gets 3 cards, except for the unicorns. They're going to get 4. I can say your name, Mike. Hello, Mike. What else have we got? Oh yeah, but anyway though, there's really not very many named Pegasi. Please say Mike's name again. All right, Mike, say it again. Yeah, so Spitfire has tokens. When you pass a morale test, you get to do something. Honestly, I think it's funny. People sometimes tell me they're like, "Yeah, I put your stuff on to fall asleep," and it's never it's not like a dig. It's not like people are out to tease me about it, but it's funny. Yeah, so the Griffins, they're a little bit skimpy on named characters that we can use, but they had just enough that I didn't have to really stretch too hard. So we got Gilda, and what I've got for the Griffins that I'm very pleased about is that all of their NCUs, their political guys, they're not going to be allowed to control wealth, because as My Little Pony established, you don't need wealth and prosperity. What you need is a better attitude. And so the attitude the Griffins shall have is that they are going to take the wealth from you. Kick your butt up and down the street and then leave with your money. So Gustave Legrand, for example, he was the Griffin that ate the chocolate mousse in the train episode. So we're going to have him. He gets to eat a little bit off of your plate. Whenever your opponent claims wealth, they restore one less unit. Gustav gets a unit. So that'll be one of the things that we've got. Greta, that was the one that made cake when they were like, let them eat cake. And then Greta was like, yes, I'll eat cakes. We don't need wealth. Greta cannot claim the wealth zone, but she counts as having it whenever you play her. And that's important for other things. Who would win a fight, Lowry or Elvis? Elvis is probably scrappier. Paris Sprite. I haven't really thought of like Paris Sprites. I know. Yeah, the Griffins just beat you up and take your money. I was showing you like Gilda here. After Gilda completes a melee attack, if the defender suffered any wounds, Gilda restores wounds. So you can't take wealth. Yeah. Who needs wealth when you have friendship? Now, Gilda will take your wealth. So for example, Gilda's unit, whatever you put her in, whenever Gilda injures you, she takes some of your money and she'll restore her own ranks. So that'll be how the Griffins actually bounce back from damage. It's by beating you up and taking it from you. Yeah, and they've just got like a bunch of very practical cards, which I'm pretty pleased about. I don't know if there's anything like specifically I can think of. But, yeah, they've all got their own little faction identities. That's everything I've got so far. So the Lunar Republic is going to be the next one that I really get into. I haven't done cards for it yet, but I will. As a Griffin, one of the examples of the Griffin cards. So you perform a morale test. And if you fail it, no, you didn't. Can't back down. Won't quit. Yeah, play really aggressively. Like, the Griffins will be good at getting stuck in because by doing damage, they will bounce back from damage. Oh, no, Pinkie Pie. That's right. That's one of the funny ones. So, Pinkie Pie. I thought it would be funny if Pinkie Pie were on the Pegasus team, but actually not. So, Pinkie Pie... she gets deployed with the Pegasi, but instead of being an attachment for them, she's an attachment for your enemy. So when the game begins, you just hand someone the Pinkie Pie and you say, "Here you go, deal with this." And so you put Pinkie Pie in one of their units, and then that unit can't fight as well because they've got Pinkie in it. So that's the Pinkie Pie card. That's the Pinkie Pie attachment. Yeah, I think that originally that Pinkie was supposed to be a Pegasus. She was going to be Surprise, but they had lost the copyright to Surprise or something like that, and so she wound up having to do. She flipped them. But yeah, so Pinkie is an enemy attachment, and then we've also got Thorax. We've got the Changelings. And I haven't really met anyone yet who liked the new Sparkle Changelings. So Thorax is in the game, but he's a traitor unit. You put him in an enemy unit, and if you kill Thorax, you gain a victory point. So that's how we incorporate Thorax into the Changeling army. He's there, but he's helping your enemies. So you've got to kill him if you want an extra point. He doesn't do anything to draw them back or anything like that. But he could help you. He could be the difference between winning a game. A single victory point is a big deal. If you get 10, you win the game. So kill a unit, that's worth 1 point. Kill Thorax, that's worth 1 point. So if you kill the unit with Thorax in it, that's 2 points. And that is a fifth of the way to victory. So it's useful. Anyway, those are the funny things I can think. I'm going to do the Lunar Republic. Like I said, everybody was like, yeah, Bat Ponies, Lunar Republic. And I've been thinking I'll do like, I probably won't have Nightmare Moon. Oh, this was the thing. Would you guys rather play as Luna or Nightmare Moon? I'm trying to put this to votes and get a sense of like where should I go with it? So far, Nightmare Moon has been more popular. Nightmare Moon? Okay. That seems to be what people would prefer. Luna, so some guy from the... Should be able to become Nightmare Moon. That would be complicated. The game's got a very good grounding, so we actually don't get too wild with these abilities. They're pretty consistent for the most part. Nightmare seems to be the more popular. Yeah. So we'll have Nightmare Moon. Nightmare Moon's going to be like a political person. She's going to be off in the political section of the game rather than on the battlefield, so she won't be a fighting unit. But I was thinking for the fighting units, of course, we'd have the Bat Pony Guard. I might give them like a ballista, and then I was gonna have like Steven Magnet be a big centerpiece fighting unit, and he'll like just tear things up, and then maybe a Manticore, and then that'd be good. Yeah. But anyway, it's about noon, so it's time for me to go get some lunch, I think, and then after that I'm gonna do some recording work and everything because I can't work on this indefinitely. A Sonic Scream for Luna. Yeah, I'll get some stuff together for him. But anyway, though, we'll probably keep working on this until it's done. My objective is 3 cards finished per day, and then this should be done by the end of this month-ish. Maybe not quite. I'm going out of town on the last weekend. But anyway, it'll be close enough that we'll get everything all printed off and good to go. So, yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you probably tomorrow.